This is the Herd Line News.
Well, Bill Belichick won't have Tom Brady on his team for the first time in 20 years. But during his appearance on NFL Network last night, he didn't seem too concerned about what the team will look like without him.
We've played it other times, without Tom. It was the 2009 season after he was injured, played 15 games with Castle, won 11-5, or, heading into the 16 season with Jimmy and then Jacoby. And Tom coming back after the 4-game suspension. So, there have been other points in time where we've dealt with that. We'll do what we always do, is try to, prepare the team the best that we can, utilize our players and the skills that they have, and put ourselves in the best position we can to, to be competitive and win. And so that's what we always do, and we'll continue to do that.
Well, his record with Brady is 219-64. His record without Brady is 18-19.
Right.
Since he started as the Patriots head coach.
Yeah, that's in New England with a great owner, and
that's in New England. That Matt Castle year in 2008, remind you, he had Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Vince Wilfork, Teddy Bruschi, Gerard Mayo, Mike Vrabel, Richard Seymour, Stephen Gostkowski.
By the way,
it's not like he was out there making it happen without Tom Brady.
Yeah, and look at New England's schedule. First 4 weeks at Seattle and at Kansas City. So I got Jarrett Stidham, and I got to go to Russell Wilson, to Patrick Mahomes. Both have much better weapons. Like, I'm sorry, Bill. And by the way, my break, I don't have to play San Francisco or Baltimore for weeks. I mean, their schedule, they will have worse weapons, Joy, than arguably every team they play. Because I think the Jets have actually upgraded at wide receiver. I can make an argument they'll have worse offensive weapons than every team on their schedule. 7-9, people said, you're crazy. I look at this and I'm like, if Bill manipulates the schedule and can pull a couple of games out, they're 7-9. They're not going to be a great team.
No, and I think that's okay, because we both agree that there is some master plan here at work with Bill Belichick. He's not just winging it. But this year, they're just not going to be good. And I don't know why that's such a hot take. All I could hear about is how terrible all the pieces around Tom Brady were last year, and they had Tom Brady. Unless Jarrett Stidham comes out and shocks the world, which I guess is possible. Moving forward into the future with the Patriots and Bill Belichick, I'm sure they're going to figure it out, and they have some plan to get a quarterback. But this year, I'm just not buying into this whole idea that they're comfortable with what's going on. I think that they have a plan moving forward, and for whatever reason, it involves them sticking with Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. Speaking of quarterback situation, Ben Roethlisberger is still recovering from his elbow surgery last September. He said last month he'll be ready to go next season. And during an interview with NFL Network, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin made it clear that he agrees.
We're extremely confident in his readiness. We're enjoying the process that he's going through right now. Obviously, it's not without his angst. The guy's coming off of a season-ending injury and surgery. But we like where we are. He's throwing on a rehab schedule. It's going well, and we fully anticipate him being ready to go for that opener.
Well, GM Kevin Colbert also said that the team likes their backup quarterback situation. They're comfortable with Mason Rudolph.
Come on.
As a backup, and Delvin Hodges in the mix.
Oh, Lord, stop it.
We talked about it yesterday. Cam Newton is open to a backup role. I don't know what the Steelers are doing. I mean, obviously, I'm not there evaluating Ben Roethlisberger's rehab process and, what his fitness regimen is. But, it's a serious surgery. He doesn't look great from what we've seen. Obviously, there's a lot of time between now and September for him to be ready, but I don't know what the plan is here. As much as I don't know what the plan is in New England, I don't know what the plan is with the Steelers either. You're going all in on Ben Roethlisberger, who just had a major surgery.
Yeah.
You got an opportunity to see what Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges were last year.
Yeah.
We saw enough.
It's like stop protecting Big Ben, bring in a legitimate backup. It
doesn't make any sense to me. Finally, Tom Brady and Gronk are starting the next chapters of their career in Tampa Bay, and head coach Bruce Arians told ESPN that the idea of the reunion was all on Brady.
Yeah, it was really Tom. Tom brought it up to me, and I didn't think it was even a possibility. He wanted to come back, and he was adamant about, he really wants to play. He'd love to play with us. So, Jason Light got the ball rolling with the Patriots. The compensation was there, and, he's working out. He's in great shape, and he's really raring to go. So we're looking forward to getting on the practice field.
There's a reason old people retire to Tampa. When your bones ache a little bit, that warm weather helps.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Gronk and Brady, don't kid yourself. those 90-degree humid days, that feel pretty good. They feel, for the rest of us, they're sweltering. For those guys, it's like, yeah, it's easier to get up in the morning.
I mean, it's a lot easier than, getting your elbows moving and, 10-degree weather, which you know all about. I'm not surprised that this was Brady's idea and that he's the one that pulled the strings to make all of this happen.
Yeah.
He wanted somebody there that he felt comfortable with, and him and Gronk have a great relationship. As opposite as their personalities and styles are, they clearly have a great relationship, and he has a lot of faith in him. And again, I'm not expecting Gronk to do any heavy lifting this year. He's there to clearly lubricate the situation and give Tom a steady target that he knows where Gronk is going to be once they're able to start working together. This situation might actually surprise some people, myself included, because I'm not expecting a lot of heavy lifting from Gronk, but if he comes back in different kind of shape than he's in right now, putting on a little weight and...
Ask yourself this. Trent Williams took the year off, and most people say Trent, as an old offensive lineman, needed it.
Right.
Gronk was banged up for 2 years.
He was miserable. He told us he was miserable. He wasn't even enjoying playing.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. If it helps Trent Williams, and I don't expect a ton from Gronk. I said this before. It's about managing expectations. If I told you Gronk had 35 catches, 3 touchdowns, and was a vital blocking tight end in the red zone with all their other weapons, you'd be like, okay, I'll take that. Good locker room guy, lubricates the locker room, kind of leads the teaching going forward. He's a good, kind of a gateway into Tom's system for the other players. Really good in the red zone. And he gives you 35, 40 catches and a couple touchdowns. You'd be like, I'll take it.
He's a huge asset to have. And he's not that old.
No.
We keep talking about Gronk.
What is he, 30?
35, 38 years old.
Like,
I think he's 31.
Yeah.
He might be 30 still. So we're aging Gronk a little bit because of the injuries that he had, but he's still a young player, even for NFL standards.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
I thought today, somebody I brought on my podcast for the last couple of years, people really enjoy him. When a schedule breaks, the NFL puts all the information into software, and it spits out 300,000 schedules. Not joking. And they end up with this. And so there's nobody works and crafts their schedule more of all the pro leagues than the NFL. And we as a network ask for certain things, not just Cowboy games. We ask for certain games that not need the Cowboys to face one of their biggest games on Thanksgiving. We don't need that this year. Why? What game did CBS really need now that Brady retired from the AFC? Okay. So, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. I think they got a break. Whereas San Francisco and Cleveland got schedules that benefit them, I don't think it changes their record necessarily. I'm going to give Tampa one more win off their schedule. So the first thing I look at is, they face the Saints in New Orleans. Ooh! But for some reason, nobody can explain it. The Saints aren't great in their home opener. 1-4 in the last 5 and could have lost their only win. Then it is a really interesting schedule break. They're learning a new offense. It could have been brutal. They could have had Aaron Rodgers week 2, Patrick Mahomes, Sean McVay and Goff have worked together, Kirk Cousins. There was a lot of little landmines here where you could have faced quarterbacks who are efficient, who have been with the same coach for years, who have more firepower, but it didn't work out that way for Tom. Instead, after the Saints, they get Carolina. New coach, new system, new quarterback. Denver. They don't even know if their franchise quarterback is their franchise quarterback. Chargers. Tyrod Taylor. New quarterback. Chicago. Hell, is it Trubisky or Nick Foles? They get Green Bay at home, but now Tom's got 5 starts in. Then they go to the Raiders and the Giants, 2 really weak defenses. This is a scheduling break. Now, I do think the Rams and the Chiefs in November are tough. But Tom's got half a season already in the books. So he's got no cold weather games here. That's a break. Because I think weaponry and perimeter stars are the strength of their team. No cold, blustery road games or home games, right? Secondly, I think he's got some tough quarterbacks to face here. But in the first 2 months, it is mostly Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tyrod Taylor, Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles. That, to me, is a scheduling break. They also get a scheduling break in Tampa late in the season. Hear me out on this. So at the end of the season, I have respect for Atlanta. They've burned me so many times, I'm worn out from them, as Joey and I often laugh. I always like Atlanta more, and every time I do, they burn me, and when I don't like them, whatever. They play Matt Ryan twice in the last 3 weeks. Here's why it's important. Matt Ryan's good. Dan Quinn could have gone either way, right? Could have been fired. Atlanta faces the Saints at the end of the year twice, November 22nd and December 6th. New Orleans is better than Atlanta. If the